Hello, everybody. I just realized that it didn't record. The class, we just ended it and it didn't record. So I'm going to try to do what I can to give you an overview of what we did today in the class. And I'm really sorry, I don't know what happened, but it didn't record. So here's what we did. So we have our journal page, we have our journals. And what I did was I made little blocks, little storyboard blocks, so that we can sketch little small snippets of our perfect vacation day. And what I did was inside these little blocks, I sketched really quickly in watercolor a tree, a forest, and this is just an impression of a nighttime in the forest and a little tent. Now this was a paper that wasn't really accepting watercolor very well. So I realized that when I started, and I realized, oh, I'm gonna have to be kind of just use the watercolor as a quick way to put some images down, but not as my final way of finishing it. So I now have blocked this out. I've did a little sketching. I add a little, using a little marker to detail it. And then I made a text block where I just wrote some things about the forest. And then I'll take my time, but I will just start writing slowly and mindfully the words next to each of the images, kind of like a cartoon, but not really. It's a stylized cartoon. What I also did is I put some watercolor ground on this side just to see how it will accept watercolor, but that needs to dry about 24 hours before I do that. So that was with this journal. That was the one thing that I showed, but I am sorry, I did not. The process of it is not there, but what I could do is I could show this. So I'll just do a little quick sketch using let's see, let's do, maybe this time I'll do an ocean thing like I did with the other one. So I'm just going to do a little inside. I'm just creating an impression. I'm not going to try to spend much time on it. I'm just doing a little bit of water, like making water, but I'm just doing it like very quickly and not really spending much time laboring it over. But I'm also keeping it within this little drawing, this little rectangle that I made. And I'm going to do the same thing on this one, just to do a little water, but this one will be a little different. This will be maybe I'll do just a little impression of maybe waves coming in or something here, just simple, kind of keeping it simple, because this paper is not happy with watercolor. It's not at all. This would be a nice long, sort of a very more of a landscape of some water. The same thing, I'll just bring it across, keeping it really loose and not trying to overthink it. So I've got 3 different levels of water. So I'm going to make also maybe some silhouettes of sailboats or something, just something. I'm actually thinking about the beach. Now, other people in the class, one person did they went camping in their little storyboard, and then another person went to the snow. So it all depends on where you want to go on your little quick vacation. And this one, I'm going to the beach. And I used to live where there were islands, so I'm, where I'd see the islands in the distance. So I'm just going to put these little islands, silhouettes, very small, maybe another one there. Okay, that's it. So I've got the 3 islands, those were the Channel Islands. I'm going to do that in all of them. I'm going to have those little islands pop up. There we are, in all 3 images. It's just a very, very simplistic approach to getting a thought down or feeling. And I also have this area here for, these areas I'm going to leave for text later. So now I'm going to just do a little sky, maybe, just a different color, maybe do some clouds, just a little bit of sky, maybe just like up here like that. Very, very faint, very light. And here. I could do a sunset, which would be kind of fun. It's just to get some reds and yellows. Maybe make a sunset on all of these. And what I'm doing is I'm trying to keep the same colors in all of these rectangles. And that unifies the whole thing. If you just use the same colors in all of them, then you've got a nice little unified look, okay? So that's kind of, in a nutshell, what I showed. And then what I did, so I'm just going to do a little bit more. Just kind of make a sunset impression, and I'm going to use all, there we go, same colors on all of them. So then if I want to, I can take a marker, I can use black, more black pen. I could do, maybe, let's get some reflection in that water too. There we are, just kind of there, like that. So I just made an impression of the water, but I'm not doing detail. So I let that dry completely, and then I'm going to erase these pencil marks, and it really makes a difference in how it looks. Gotta let that dry. I can add little birds flying. I can do whatever I want to give some detail. Trying to do it in the areas that are dry. There we are, little birds flying, seagulls. Just, I'll let that dry completely. So once it's dry, then I can erase, which I'm hoping I can do right now. I'll give it a shot. So I've got this eraser. Now I'm going to take away this line that I had created. And what that does is it gives me, as long as it's dry, nope, it's not dry. Okay, there I am. So see what it does is it's floating now. This image is a lot more interesting now with that line away from it, because it's much more open and interesting looking. But that line was just a way to keep me inside these little areas. But then now that I've erased them, it just looks so much more interesting and more fresh. Get rid of those lines. This is an interesting, there we go. So you can see how it looks just more fun and fresh. And now I can start adding text around it. So this is a day at the beach. I'm just thinking of the beach. And you could make it you can make a green forest, which is what I did with the camping one. But now I can add detail and add text about the beach here. And I just made a nice little, just an impression of the beach, not the actual beach itself, just an impression. So that was the lesson. And here you can see on this side, before I close it, I was able to, the same thing, I had erased that, and I just made a really interesting way to journal without a lot of laboring over the design. So I hope that helps. I hope that I will get that recorded next time. We'll have the live class will be recorded. I don't know what happened, but sorry about that, but hopefully you'll get something out of this. Oh, and so the supplies are watercolors or colored pencils, anything, a pencil, like if you just have a little drafting pencil, lightweight drafting pencil, if I can find mine. I know it's here somewhere. There it is. Something like this, just a light drafting pencil. That's a 5mm, a permanent marker, white markers, a brush, some watercolors, whatever you've got, or colored pencils, and your journal. So, and water, and that's it. Okay, well, I hope that, oh, another thing, I forgot. This is what I used. It's just a little hotel-sized key card, or you can use an old credit card, an old license, and that's what I used to trace the lines around. So basically, you just take your pencil, draw it around. Now you have your little container to do your painting in, and then you paint away and you erase when you're finished, and you've got this really fun, loose, illustrative style for your journaling.